We end today's show with Congresswoman Delia Ramirez from Chicago, who's calling for ICE to be abolished and the Department of Homeland Security to be dismantled. So if you can talk about what you are calling for when it comes to Kristi Noem, the Secretary of Homeland Security, who said after Alex Pretty was killed by Border Patrol agents in Minneapolis that he was brandishing a weapon. Absolutely, that was in contradiction to any video. No one claims he was brandishing a weapon. And you have, as you said, Stephen Miller talking about this would-be assassin who had gone to massacre police. What are you calling for in each of these cases?
Yeah, we need an independent investigation, but I think that we have enough footage as well to immediately realize that what Kristi Noem and what Stephen Miller are saying is blatant lies. DHS kills and then they lie about it. And somehow they think that they can lie also about the video footage. If there was body cameras and footage that they would release, it would collaborate everything we saw from every single angle. The CBP executed Alex Pretty. DHS and ICE killed Silverio Villegas. DHS shot Marimar and then lied about it and is unwilling to release all the evidence as her lawyer's demanding for it now. Renee Good was killed by them and then they cursed at her as if this was some video game that they're playing as they're executing U.S. citizens, in our cities. Here's the thing. She needs to be impeached. I'm grateful that Leader Jeffries is now saying that if Republicans if she's unwilling to resign or get fired, that we're going to start the impeachment process in the House of Representatives. She needs to be impeached, but Amy, that's not enough. She needs to be impeached, and then she needs to be prosecuted for the crimes under her watch. You heard someone just talk about DHS. DHS is rotten from the inside out. She needs to be impeached, prosecuted, but Tom Homan is no better. And if that's who they're attempting to bring to replace her, you know that what we see in our communities will continue. The agency itself needs to be dismantled. ICE needs to be abolished. And I have a bill called Melt ICE Act that would prohibit DHS from using any more of this balloon levels of money that they have that are being used to abduct, to kidnap, and then detain people so that they can give these contracts to campaign donors of Donald Trump. We have to abolish ICE. CBP was trained to operate in the way that it's operating. The entire agency of DHS needs to be dismantled, and FEMA can no longer operate under this rotten agency.
So can you talk about what legislation that you've introduced to abolish ICE? I mean, you have Democrats, your colleagues in the House last week, crossing the aisle and joining Republicans in funding DHS as it is. People like Tom Suozzi and another Long Island Congress member. Suozzi has now apologized, saying his constituents are angry. He apologized because Pretty was killed this weekend, and he said he really made a mistake in supporting this. But what actually happens now? This decision that can lead to a partial government shutdown if the Republicans don't agree to separate out the funding of DHS from the rest of the budget?
Well, Republicans should immediately separate this budget the way that we did in the House. And then every single Democrat and every single Republican that's beginning to call for Kristi Noem to resign should say not one more dollar as long as Kristi Noem is the secretary, not one more dollar until we have body cameras, not one more dollar until we get rid of secret police. But the point is, Amy, I can't justify anyone that would vote to send more money. Now think about it, 170 billion taxpayer dollars through this big betrayal bill, I call it. They call it the big, beautiful bill. And then you're going to go and send them more money so that they can continue to occupy cities? What people in Minneapolis are feeling, in some way we felt in Chicago, it is an invasion of American cities. Chicago is still not okay from the invasion from Midway Blitz. And so it means that every single Democrat that is saying that what they're seeing every day is unacceptable, they have to call for more than training. They have to call for not one more dollar to be used by an agency that is executing people, that is abducting people, and in detention, our neighbors, our constituents are dying in. And so it means no money. And if there's a government shutdown, I think we have to be very clear as Democrats what our demands are, because you saw the failure of Democrats in the Senate last time we had a government shutdown. What did we in fact get from that shutdown? And I would say to you, Schumer has to do its job. Of course, I've called for his resignation. I still don't think that he is the leader that we need for this moment. But his precise responsibility in this moment is to ensure that demands of the American people are heard and not one more dollar is given to this agency that is rotten and killing American people.
So now Bovino is out, head of CBP. Apparently he's being sent back to Central California and will retire. And Tom Homan, considered by President Trump sort of the adult in the room, is being brought in. Last year, it was reported Homan had been recorded in 2024 accepting a bag. It was a bag from Cava, the store, with $50,000 in cash from a pair of undercover FBI agents who were posing as business executives in exchange for the money. Homan reportedly offered to help them secure future government contracts. Bribery probe was opened, but Trump's Department of Justice shut down the investigation. I wanted to play a clip of NBC anchor Kristen Welker questioning Homan about the incident in an interview on Meet the Press.
I didn't take $50,000 from anybody, and that's the question for the FBI. I'm not going to give this story any more air. Bottom line, I did nothing illegal. I did nothing, and the FBI and DOJ review this. No credible evidence I did anything, because I didn't do anything illegal.
But was there $50,000 in the bag, and did you return it?
I'm not giving the story any more air. This is an attack on my integrity and my professionalism. I'm not addressing it. But that's a question of the FBI.
Can you address, given that it's been recorded, did you keep the money? Did you return the money?
I did not keep any. $50,000 is ridiculous. The FBI has been clearing this, and it irritates me. This story keeps going on and on and on, even though I've been found to do nothing inappropriate. So I'm not going to ask any more of these questions.
But just, did you return the money?
So that's Tom Homan, who's now been brought in. Supposedly, ICE has also been brought in to deal with corruption in Minnesota. Homan's case, they did not come to a conclusion. The FBI just dropped the investigation recently. What are you calling for in his case and your response to him being brought in to head the ICE operations, the CBP operations?
Tom Homan is corrupt. He is no better than Gregory Bovino. Tom Homan is also responsible for everything that is happening. He is a special advisor to the president on all immigration enforcement. Everything that is happening, whether it's Alex, Renee, whether it's Silverio, and the dozens of other people have died under watch, Tom Homan is responsible for it as well. Rodney Scott, Tom Homan, Stephen Miller, Kristi Noem, Trisha, all of them are responsible. There is no fixing, reforming the Department of Homeland Security. My bill, Melt ICE Act, is a bill that members of Congress can co-sponsor that would prohibit from your taxpayer dollars being used to continue to do what you see in the streets, from the detention that you're seeing in these private detentions where the contracts are going to Donald Trump's campaign donors that Tom Homan is helping also facilitate. This bill will also redirect all that money back into the communities like Minneapolis, like Chicago, that have been harmed by immigration enforcement. But the point is this: Tom Homan, Rodney Scott, Todd Lyons, they are all to blame to what is happening. Getting rid of Kristi Noem, of course, is a step forward. It is not enough. The entire agency needs to be dismantled, and Tom Homan is no better.
Kash Patel's FBI closed the investigation into Homan while opening investigations into protesters in Minneapolis. And the Civil Rights Division says they're not bringing civil rights charges against the agents who killed the U.S. citizens in Minneapolis. We have 20 seconds. Your final thoughts.
When you have an agency killing people, executing them, lying about it, and then talking about investigating themselves while operating with impunity, you know exactly what is happening. ICE needs to be abolished, DHS needs to be dismantled, and we need to bring justice for every single person being experiencing the harm, the chaos, and the terrorizing in every community in this country.
Illinois Congressmember Delia Ramirez speaking to us from Chicago. We want to thank you so much for being with us. I'm Amy Goodman. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching Democracy Now! On YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to make sure you never miss a video. And for more of our audience-supported journalism, go to democracynow.org, where you can download our news app, sign up for our newsletter, subscribe to the daily podcast, and so much more.